shit.
And this is on IG, right?
IG. Yeah. In a second, I gotta make it. I think I just messed it up. It's IG. It's on YouTube. It's simulcast to a few different places. Um, let me fix it. Uh, if you're already tuned in, just give me a second. I gotta sort something out real quick so that we can go live on IG. I see some people popped in already. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Give me 1 sec. Oh man, I don't know if I can change it. We might not be live on IG today. It's all good. All right, we'll get started in just a second. Another GOAT back to back. Last week we had Justin. This week we have Rob Markman. I'll give a more proper intro in just a second. Cool. I'm definitely excited for this combo for sure. You got so much experience.
Likewise. I mean, Justin, who you had? Justin Hunt last week?
Yeah, Justin Hunt.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Cass has been around for a minute.
Tough act to follow. That's all I'm saying, man. I should have put me first and then him second. That's a hard act to follow.
Here we go.
My guy.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Two Lost Office Hours. I was about to say Two Lost Conversations because we have another series with artists. It's not live, but it's more of like a podcast interview series. But this is Two Lost Office Hours. We're live every Monday, and like I just said, we have a gentleman by the name of Rob Mark. There's so many things that he does and has done. I don't even know what label to put on you. What do you prefer at this point?
I think music and media executive is probably the easiest, like overall encompassing. But I mean, I'm a journalist. I'm an artist myself. I've written a comic book or two. Man, it's just man, I want all the jobs, man. And I just love what I do. So and any aspect I get to express myself in that, I'm all in.
Yeah. No, and so that's the main reason that I was looking forward to this conversation, because I think the way you've been able to navigate your career, it seems like, and we don't know each other that well, but it seems like you're fulfilled. And you've been able to use so many brushes on your canvas to do so many different things, right? So like you said, you're an artist. Where are some of the places that you have worked so people know?
Started out my career freelancing as a journalist, writing record reviews for Complex and Vibe and the Source magazine back when print magazines were really, what they say, all the rage. Got my first staff job at Scratch magazine, and then I worked at Double XL. I went on to MTVnews.com, and now I'm currently at Genius, where I've been since 2015.
Dope. And like you said, you're an artist. You're putting out music. Are you still putting out music? When's the next?
Yeah. Okay. I'm working on the project currently. Yeah.
Okay. You said comic books. You got your own platform now. I don't know if it's not a podcast, but how would you describe the content that you're creating?
Literally just my thoughts. It's just, man, I turn on the camera and post to YouTube. There might be 15-minute episodes. I might do one a day. I might do two a day. It's not that weekly podcast structure where we sit and talk for 3 hours. It's literally just me in the room, talking about whatever is pertinent in music or whatever is just on the top of my mind, and sharing information and building community. Is really the most important part. It's not even just about me. It's about community, man. They tell you on YouTube, they say, don't read the comments. Whatever you do, don't read the comments. I love reading the comments on my videos. I love the community that we're building. Like, it's really just a dope group of people sharing information, man. So I want to embrace everybody that embraces me.
Yeah. I feel like you got to read the comment. You got to read the comment. You just have to read it from a place of like, don't get too high or too low. You got to check in and get the pulse of how people are receiving your content, good and bad. Sometimes it feeds back into the creativity, and sometimes it's just like, hey, this probably just wasn't something for that audience. I'm gonna keep rocking and doing what I do. But since you've been in music for so long, what are some of the qualities that you think have allowed you to be as successful and to pivot and to move into different things? What are those qualities that you possess or gained over time that have allowed you to still continue to be successful in music?
Yeah, look, I think the two things are passion and authenticity. the authenticity part, I'll start there. I know what's for me and what's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I never came into the game to be something that I'm not. And I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. As we see as media personalities, as journalists, even, I mean, the conversation about hip hop journalists, like, if we're being honest, is really shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's more personality based than anything. Now, there's not. I mean, there's a bunch of people still practicing journalism, but in the limelight of all the major players we talk about in hip hop media, it's more personality based than everything. And I understand that, but still, I got to come into it myself. Like, and we know that people watch for information, people watch for entertainment. But like for me, like, I won't do like the WWE thing. I'm not into beefing with other podcasters. Now, I ain't no punk about my shit, man. I mean, if you come for me, man, you might see another side, but that's not part of my marketing scheme. Is like, all right, let me say something about this one, so we could get to a back and forth, and we can get more traffic like that. And I'm not even knocking those that do, because it's entertaining. Because you look at the numbers and you look at the people who watch it, but that's just an example of authenticity. It's like knowing who you are. Hey, I don't play those type of games. That's not for me necessarily. And then the passion. The passion is, whether you get paid for it or not. And I've been paid handsomely throughout my career, right? And blessed to make a living. But there's some things that I do, and there's not a check attached. There's not, or the check is not that big, or the check doesn't justify the work that you put in. But the passion is what carries you through. And you said earlier, you said, yo, Rob, you seem to be fulfilled. Fulfillment is what carries you through. Like, if I'm being honest, anybody, streams are public. You can look at the streams on my music. I'm not making a ton of money off of my music at all. You know what I'm saying? But the passion is what keeps me going.
Yeah. You got to cut for a sec?
Yeah. Let me just reset.
Okay. No
I'm
worries.
sorry. They told me I had the room, but then I guess I did it. But
all good. We'll be back. Well, let me just give you guys some updates while Rob is resetting. We are working. This is a 2 Lost update. So we're working on a live event that we're initially bringing to DC, New York, Philly, and Atlanta. This will be the end of September. As soon as we lock in this last venue, we'll be able to make this announcement. So it's going to be something fun, something exciting, not your normal conference. The best way I can describe it is kind of like a pop-up conference, but it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more interactive. There will be no panels. You're not going to come and listen to somebody talk for an hour and then go home. This will be interactive. So you got to come ready to participate, because you guys are going to make the event better. So that we're counting on the audience making this event a lot better. So if you're in Atlanta, DC, New York, and Philly, if you're not in any of those cities, when these events go well, we'll definitely plan more for the end of this year or the top of next year. So be on the lookout for that. Also, another 2 Lost announcement. We announced our Fan Blast tool. This tool allows you to email your fans directly from our platform. So again, we're always looking to upgrade and add new stuff to the platform so that you guys can build your communities. Rob was just talking about community. So we're trying to give you the tools for you guys to build your community. What other 2 Lost updates do I have? What else will we work? I'm working on a compilation album. We're working on an R&B compilation album. We'll do more genres. Hold on, let me see. There we go. Boom. We're going to do more genres in the coming months, but we're starting with R&B. Nyla's helping us with that. She's going to lead that effort, but we already got some dope tracks. So we got something that we think is going to be pretty dope and represents the R&B genre well. So we're working on a lot of stuff. Hopefully you guys tap in. Lots of stuff to get involved with. Boom. Kayvon said, Fan Blast is sick. Appreciate you checking it out. All right, we good to go?
We back. Man, sorry about that. I double booked the room, but it's all good. We back here.
All good. It gave me some time to give them some 2 Lost updates. See, where were we? So because there's a lot of pressure sometimes to do some things that maybe sacrifice your integrity or maybe knock you off your square. Like, how does one resist that or kind of stay grounded? Is there any advice that you could give to a young person that might be like, ah, man, I'm not getting any streams or looks. It might make me do some weird stuff to get the looks or to get the, you know, the likes and the streams up. How could, what's advice that we could give them to kind of help ground them and prevent some of that?
Well, first of all right, brother. All right, congratulations. Good luck about everything. My bad. We just sat with Leo State Trail from the UK, man. He
Okay.
has an amazing song out right now called Pink Lemonade blowing up. So
Nice.
we was just building with him. But to answer your question, be honest with the audience and be honest with yourself. I mean, I've been in this 20 years, so I mean, I've made moves that didn't feel right. And so a little bit of it is trial and error. Like you kind of got to try things to really know what's for you and what's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process of trying it out, I think it's like, yo, be honest with the audience. Like it's okay. You know who does an amazing job at that? And what I admire is J. Cole.
Mm.
I think J. Cole, and I'm looking forward to what he has to say on his next album coming after this Kendrick and Drake beef, right? But J. Cole has done things like Workout, right? Which was a big single for him on that first album. And he's talked about the pressures he felt to make a single and to make something pop, and maybe it didn't feel right to him. And then he does a song like Let Nas Down, where he kind of explains it and is really honest. So that's not to say that any creative should feel the pressure to be perfect, because
Right.
none of us are. But be honest with your audience, learn what is and isn't for you, and don't keep making the same mistakes twice, because you can't tell your audience, like J. Cole, for example, can't tell his audience, ah man, I kind of Workout wasn't really the song, but I was forced to make it. And then every album he makes a workout, like, because then you didn't really learn the lesson, or what you're telling me isn't authentic. But I use J. Cole as an example because I think he's really great with authenticity. So trial and error, and be honest with your audience.
Yeah. If you were an artist starting today, like how do you think you would be dividing your time? Like let's just say you got a little bit of traction, nothing, you're not a full-time artist yet. You're trying to get to that. How do you feel like how would you divide your day and diversify your efforts?
Well, I look, man, and I know a lot of artists struggle with making content and being their own marketing machines,
Mm-hmm.
which is difficult. A lot of artists tell me, and I hear from, I'm a musician. I came in to make music. My job is in the studio. I'm not really great at these other things. Again, that's honest, knowing what you're great at and what you aren't great at. I think for artists that are really serious about music, I think the bulk of your time needs to be spent in the studio, making sure that your record is right, making sure that you're making the right song that's going to touch the audience, that's going to make the audience feel something. What is 2024? And unfortunately, I mean, in the perfect world, yeah, artists can just be artists. Somebody else can market it. Somebody else can promote it. I feel you. That's just not where we're at, and it's not the reality where we're at. So, spend the most of your time making the best product you can make, the best song that you can make, and then find a way to connect with people after that in very authentic ways. Like, again, content has become a dirty word, and I have problems with the word also, because content has become an umbrella for everything. Your music video is content, your social media is content. We even call music content now. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
but like, okay, like TikTok before, it was like, hey, why am I on TikTok? I don't dance. You don't need to do dance videos to be on TikTok. It's like, how can you best communicate the heart and soul of your art to an audience? Where can you connect with them at? And it's just finding very authentic ways to do that. I still believe in going out and meeting people, like
Mm-hmm.
do a meetup, invite fans to your listening session, to your studio, to come with you, and even if 10 fans in your city who can come to the studio with you, and you can play them the song and they can hear it first. Like, there's all type of creative ways that you can connect your art to people. And I think it's finding that authentic way to you. It doesn't have to come with a dance.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a funny joke meme. You don't have to be the next Drewski to market your music. But I think the audience craves authenticity. So spend the most time in your studio, but you do have to spend time to figure out how to connect with an audience, because that's just the game that we're in now.
Yeah, no, super crucial. I think, and I was doing a talk with Ray Daniels. We were doing our power hour, and he talked, because I always think it's dope when artists like use the in real life experience and translate that to digital. When Ray talked about it, he talked about creating spectacles. I mean, I guess creating spectacles can create a splash. It don't have to be a spectacle, but just using those in real life experiences, finding a way to capture those and translate that to digital so people understand that it's a real thing and what you're doing is connecting people in real life.
Look at La Russell is a perfect example of this. La Russell for a couple of years now have been throwing concerts in his backyard, and he's been taking snippets of that and doing live versions of song and putting it on his Instagram and TikTok, and there might be 15 to 20 people in there to start. And we've seen how La Russell has grown it from his backyard. I just saw a clip with him and Juvenile rapping what appeared to be his backyard. If I got it wrong, but
it was.
So he went from 15 to 20 people in his backyard. Like, hey, I'm just going to connect with as many people as I can in real life. So I have one of the most iconic rappers with one of the most celebrated classic albums in hip hop, 400 Degrees. And he's in my backyard and we're rocking, and he respects me as an artist enough to come down and do this thing. You have to be meaningful, you have to be intentional, and you have to be willing to grow it. The problem is, and the problem with social media is that we see everybody's end result. So if our end result doesn't match their end result, we give up. But again, you look at an artist like La Russell, look at how he built it. Look at his first backyard video to the one with Juvenile. Look how different they look. Look at how packed it is now versus what it was. You got to believe, and you got to trust the process, and you got to be willing to work for what you believe in for years, even when it doesn't yield a Grammy and a platinum record right out the gate, because that seldomly happens for people.
Yeah, that's why I hate when artists delete their social media and have like 2 or 3 pictures or 4 or 5 pictures. Because when I had the label, I loved being able to scroll back years and years and just kind of see the progression. Like everything gets better, right? The graphic design work gets better, the quality of the audio, the quality of the videos, the way we brand ourselves, and I just love seeing that progression over time. Because like you're right, it definitely didn't start with Juvie. It started with probably a handful of people, and probably most of them was his family members, in the first shows. And then we've seen it grow up. We've seen him grow up over the past couple of years, and things just grows exponentially at this point.
Yeah. Or you take somebody, again, another great example is somebody like Lady London, who I'm oh man, I'm such a fan of her bars and her wordplay and her intention. It started with freestyles on her Instagram that grew to 1 million views, and now she's signed with Def Jam, and every time I look up, she's doing something amazing, and so so if you're a spitter, then I mean just rap, simply freestyle, but you got to be consistent with it, and you got to be willing to build it brick by brick, and you can't get discouraged when it doesn't come in year 1, when it doesn't happen in year 2. A lot of times it takes 10 years on that grind to really get to where you want to go, but if you're passionate about it for real, your passion will be the fuel that'll carry you through.
With Lady London, I mean, I've definitely been following her for quite some time. She's super skilled. It's a unique flow. It's kind of a conversational flow. She's saying something. Obviously, she's an attractive young lady. But it definitely didn't start with just one video. Like, she was putting it, I don't know if it was weekly or how often, what the cadence was initially to get the following that she has now. But she put in work. She put in a lot of work. And another thing that I tell artists, because a lot of artists think that money is their biggest issue. And I always push back on that, because I've seen people like Lady London. I've seen people like Toby Nwigwe. I've seen in our own experience. Like I see these people grow up online, like basically just turning the camera on themselves and like creating content. So at some point you'll need to invest in yourself for sure, but you have the tools. You just need a plan, you need a brand, you need a message, and you need, to have those skills and just be consistent with the content.
Yeah, when I first met Russ, he didn't have shit. You know, he was a student. And matter of fact, he wasn't even rapping. He was producing for Boogus at the time, and he convinced me and made a believer out of me. I put them on MTV when I was working there, and we had a segment called Get in the Game on Rap Fix Live. It was a show that Sway hosted and I produced, and you know, I helped co-host the show a bit. And then he started rapping. We put him on again.
Oh, we have an earthquake. Hold on, bro. Oh,
I definitely, wow, bro. I come to Cali and there's an earthquake.
shit.
Y'all are bugging out. Yo, I'm going back home. Yeah, I'm good. I thought a truck was passing by. This crazy.
Sheesh. It's that Cali. Oh man, even though I'm from here, I never get used to earthquakes ever. I don't know. We might need to wrap this. I'm in an old brick building.
Yeah, Dane felt it too. Dane was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
it's an earthquake."
I'm in an old brick building. I definitely don't feel comfortable in this joint.
Wow, you let me know what you want to do, man. I'm alright. I feel okay. I'm alright. Like, oh shit, get to shaking.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, normally the first one, you know, there'd be some aftershocks, but it shouldn't be as big as the first one. But we had an earthquake, I think last week. California's been rumbling. I got this app on my phone because I don't mess with earthquakes like that. So yeah, this one was 4.7 in South Pasadena, which is very close to where we're at now. But Cali's been rumbling. I've been getting alerts because we felt one. I think the epicenter was in Bakersfield. I think it was just last week or the week before. But it's definitely. Hopefully, this is not a buildup to something bigger. Right. Hopefully, it's releasing some of the pressure so we don't get it. I don't even know if that's how it works, but
it sounds good to me. I'm with you. I'm with you. We got one on the East Coast earlier this year too. It was a 7 point something. I'm in Jersey now.
A 7?
I'm just like, what's going on? Yeah, it was a 7 point something.
Damn.
Out in Jersey. New York felt it too. Yeah. So something going on, man.
Yeah, I might need to. I might need to work the rest of the day from the crib because being 9 floors up is not the business right now.
Nah, absolutely.
Anyway, we'll keep it rocking. It definitely threw me off a little bit.
Yeah. I was talking about Russ though. I was saying how Russ did. You know how you said artists think money is their main issue, man. When I first met Russ, he was just a student and producing, and then he started rapping, and then you know he moved to New York and he was sleeping in Kid Super's basement on the couch and just recording records all day. Like, so so he got to the point where he had enough stockpile where he started putting out a new single every week. Yes, money is a tool, but man, that passion can take you places. That drive, that unwaveringness could take you places, and it also convinces people. It's also a hell of a marketing thing. Like we're in this business and we see artists come and go, man, but there's something special about those artists who don't quit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't even be the best ones. You know, sometimes the other thing is that we also see artists who feel very entitled because they have a high skill set. You know, if you're a rapper, like I saw 38 Special saying this, I think it was on Matt Hoffa's podcast, where he was like, rappers feel like people should fuck with them just because they could rap really good.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I love talent, but man, consistency wins where talent fails a lot of times. So, you know, you can blend those two. Definitely don't be whack. I'm not advocating for non-talented motherfuckers, but it needs to be a consistency. Talent alone just doesn't do
it. Yeah, no, but there's the problem with a lot, because I obviously at this point I've seen a lot of rappers come and go a lot, and there's some that are still in it, just kind of continuing to do the same thing. Being able to rap is just not good enough. Like, you got to have songs, you got to have the brand, you got to have I know a lot of cats that could just rap, you know. But I mean, I don't know if you share a different opinion, but from what I've seen, it's just, okay, you can rap, but like, what are you saying? You know, what's the story you're communicating? What do your visuals look like? You know, it's much more than just being able to rap.
Right. No, it's about story. It's about getting people to buy into you. Who are you as a person? You know, and that's where that authenticity comes into play. You know, and that's what excites me about artists. And you know, obviously one of the things that we hadn't talked about, and full disclosure is that, everybody knows I'm over at Genius, and we have a Genius distro, and we're partnered with Two Loss. So Two Loss is our partner. So when we're signing artists, me and my partner Kayvon, I mean, that's what we're looking for. Like it's talent, plus it's like the consistency of what they have, the storytelling. Like, if we link with them, can they take advantage of what we have to offer? We can't exactly tell or create the story for you. So do you have a story to tell, and then how can we help amplify that, enhance it, and shoot it out in the world in partnership with the artist and in partnership with Two Law? So we're very excited. I mean, we have an artist named Win who is doing amazing right now, and Win was somebody who I met in 2018, and even if you look at a song like Buzzer that she dropped in 2018 to her latest singles, Rug Burn and Dogging Me, you could see the progression, you could see the work, you could see the elevation of her art. We put out Overcast, EP on Overcast last year, and man, he went on to start producing for Drake on For All the Dogs, but he's telling an amazing story. There's just so many artists that we have now. Angelo Mota, we just signed a 16-year-old kid from Florida named Antone Now, who he's like 16, and I'm like, why are you rapping like this? What year? I know you're 16, but what year were you born? I feel like Hov when young Chris was freestyling on Hot 97, he's like, he's 16. So it's just certain days that stand out to us that make us kind of want to get behind this artist and help amplify them.
No, Win is super dope. Like I definitely, I don't know what year she was put on my radar, but I've been following her for a minute. I think one of the things that stands out now that maybe wasn't as strong before is just the level of confidence on camera. Like she really commands attention and really like owns it when she's creating visuals, or even when I seen her do an interview. So I think, I've definitely seen her progress over the past few years. When you guys, how are you guys sourcing? Are you like accepting demos? Is somebody, is Kayvon just in these internet streets looking for stuff?
Kayvon is amazing, man. Kayvon, again, it goes to that passion. Kayvon has his own live streams that he sets up and asks artists to send and play him music. Kayvon, as myself, I have a lot going on. Kayvon dedicates a lot of time to it, though. But Kayvon is just genuinely interested in up and coming artists and hearing new talent, and has a passion for listening to new artists. So, it starts there. I mean, me too. Like a lot of it comes through Kayvon, because I do so many things in the company. Like my days are like, I'm not in the streets like Kayvon is in the streets. A lot of it comes from him. We're not exactly accepting demos. We're not putting the beacon call out, because we're also not playing the volume game that everybody is playing. Everybody who comes through gets some special individual attention. And at a certain point, there's a cap where, okay, I can't give everybody the attention because we have such a big roster, but we kind of even it out and space it out, and just look for artists that come across our radar that not only sound good, but it's just like, how can we help? Sometimes there's artists that sound amazing, and it's like, damn, I don't know how I can help. I don't know how I could take it. Like, but we match what we have to offer with certain artists, and be like, oh, we know how to take them from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, so forth and so on.
Yeah. So when you were coming up, I would imagine, like, did you have equal passion for like journalism and making music, or was it like, okay, I'm an artist, but I can stay around this music thing by doing the journalism? Like, how'd you feel?
Yeah, my passion was music. My passion was to make music. I wrote my first raps when I was 12. My older cousin is in Cypress Hills, a member of Cypress Hill. The first rap concert I ever went to was a Cypress Hill concert. So I seen it. Shout out to my cousin Bobo. So I seen it up close and personal, and it's like, okay, I want that. And so it started writing raps, then it started going battling in the lunchroom and in the the schoolyard, and then going to fat beats to battle other MCs and taking part in more structured battles, kind of like how 8 Mile was and shit like that. And getting in the studio. My first studio session ever was with Plain Pat before he linked with Good Music. So Plain Pat has my first demo ever. It's terrible. He threatens to release every time I speak to him. He threatens to release it. Yo, I'm gonna release that joint. I'm like, nah, keep it in the vault. But I was always interested. I was always buy the Source magazine, Double XL magazine, Blaze magazine, Vibe magazine. I never thought I could make a living, and what happened was I got the opportunity to write album reviews when I graduated college. And if I'm being real, the journalism like that was paying more than the rap for me. So I went with journalism. It wasn't strictly a money play, but I was like, oh, I can make a living off of this, and I could still do music. So that's how it kind of came to me. It was kind of I always mess up the word, but it was like divine intervention. Like it just came like almost by luck, but I had prepared myself for it. So my love was the music first, and then journalism second.
Yeah. So, it's just the reality of the situation with a lot of up and coming artists. Like you probably gonna have to get a job unless you're blessed and your parents just got a lot of money or whatever. It's probably a common sense answer, but like it's probably ideal to get a job in and around music if you want to be in art. That's probably an ideal situation. You can build your network, just kind of be around creative people. But I guess at the end of the day, you got to make money. You got to do what you got to do. But would that be your suggestion to try to? Because there are a lot of things that you can do in and around music.
Right, for sure, absolutely. If you could get that, it will be great. But again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. Authenticity is so important. Like when I got into journalism and made a name for myself, it was important for me for people to respect that. I didn't want anybody who I was working with. I didn't want anybody who I was around thinking, oh, he's just doing journalism to get these raps off. That was important to me. It wasn't like a lick for me. Like I did love it. It wasn't like I was going on every time I interviewed an artist, I'm like, yo, check out my mixtape. Like there were definitely artists along the way that helped me out and I connected with on that level, but it was never a vehicle for that. But that's just me, right? I'm not even saying that's a right or wrong thing, but authenticity is important. Like people just need to be able to recognize your true intention. But yes, from a very practical level, if you can get in and work in the music industry to be able to get these raps off or whatever you want to do, and as long as the people around you are comfortable with that, then do it. I mean, look at a guy like Ludacris. Ludacris started his career in radio before he dropped Incognito, and then before he signed to Def Jam. So it works for certain people. You definitely see areas where it works at. So just be authentic with it, man. Nobody likes. I think if you try to sneak and connive your way through this thing, this is a very small industry, and people are going to find out. So as long as you're authentic and intentional, you can make it work for you for sure.
The fact that this is a small industry, I think, comes up once every 4 office hour sessions. It came up last week with Justin because I want to just reiterate that to people because there are background checks constantly being done that you don't know about. Like people will hit other people and be, hey, you know this cat? Like, what's the deal? And so you got to move with integrity. You just got to be solid. I think like you said, though, if you do get a job in music, you have to draw those boundaries, though. You have to do your job, right? And only because we have a lot of creative people here at Two Laws, right? We have people that do music, manage artists, things like that. But when they're here, their job needs to be their main focus. And sometimes it's appropriate to bring what they do on the side into the equation, but sometimes it's not. And you have to know when it is appropriate and when it's not, and don't blur those lines. Because you could just get fired.
Yeah, and then not just fired, but then you lose trust. Yeah. Then people don't understand your intention, like because it is so much teamwork. Like even with Genius and me rapping, when I put out my first album, Genius was. Let's go back to. I was rapping on, and my music was on blogs. Two Dope Boys, Now Right. Before I got to Double XL magazine full time. And then when I got there, I tried to be very upfront about my intention. I wasn't, but it didn't go over so well. You know what I'm saying? And but by the time I got to Genius, my career as a journalist and just a professional and my reputation had grew so high that people knew what my intention was, at least the people that I worked with. And when I put out Right to Dream in 2017, while I worked at Genius, they were tremendously supportive from the CEO on down to the point where like I even have a verified episode. Like I didn't want to do it. Like verified is the yellow background where people explain their lyrics. They was like, yo, Rob, like I helped create that show. I'm a co-creator on that show. They was like, yo, Rob, you have to do a verified. And I'm like, nah, that feels weird. And they were like, nah. I said, listen, man, if people want me to do it, if the company feels okay with me doing it, I'm down. It will be fun. But if it feels weird, no hard feelings. I'm good. You know, Hot 97 was supporting me. Breakfast Club was supporting me. I was getting support from all over. So, but they were like, nah, come do verified it. And I did it. So it felt great to be embraced by my team because they understood my intention. They knew it wasn't a lick. And they knew regardless, like, you know, I performed at the Barclays one night. You know, Logic brought me out on stage to perform at the Barclays a week after my album dropped.
Dope.
I was at work that day. And I left work to go to the Barclays, do my performance, and then I was back at work at 9 a.m. the next day. Like it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? They would have understood, oh man, you want to come in late the next day is cool. But I just didn't forsake my job and my role and my responsibility. I just found a way to make it all work together.
Yeah, nah, that's super dope. I think it's, and maybe you have a shared experience because, like, as I've been in this for a minute, you know, I found different ways. And I think initially, you know, I was, especially on coming in as a manager or a label owner, you kind of get labeled as just the business guy. But as you get into this, like, you find different ways to unlock your creativity and work on a lot of different things, right? You had mentioned a comic book earlier, but it seems like you just keep finding ways to use your creativity for different things. Is that and that's one of the things that excites me because I'm now working with Big Joe as a comedian and we're trying to get into television and film. And it's just like, we're coming up with other ideas of skits and movies and things like that. Is that kind of been your experience too? Like just finding different ways to use your creativity and maximize its potential.
Yeah, man. It's like get these ideas off, like be dope. Like this is part of us being part of that hip hop generation. Like, first of all, I did a post on my Instagram last week or 2 weeks ago that I think the greatest lyric of all time in hip hop, and you could debate me. I'm not saying the best. I'm not saying the most layered. I'm not saying the most entendre, but the greatest hip hop lyric of all time to me is Notorious B.I.G. Remember Rapid Duke, the hard, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. The fact that we are hip hop kids and we could do things outside of music and still be our hip hop selves. I don't have to take my hat off when I walk in the office building. I can still come on with my chains and my Air Max 95 or whatever I feel comfortable and just be myself. You the same. Like, so I you know, that's very important to me. You know, it was important to me even on the interview on the journalism side, right? When I'm interviewing artists, I'm my interviews to me when I'm on that seat is a work of art. So that's why before 21 Savage drops his first album, I take him, I do an interview with him, but I took him to a blacksmith because he has the knife tattooed on his head. And you remember he had the meme, right? It's a knife. And it was all funny to people. And I said, well, damn, you got this tattoo right on your forehead. This means something to you. Let's go to a blacksmith. They took a piece of raw steel and made a replica of the knife that's on his head. And we had a conversation about what that tattoo meant and how he came up. And that was the backdrop. That's a creative ass interview. Like my interviews is just as creative as the raps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we gotta be dope or when it's writing a comic book or doing something like that. It's just, yeah, just being creative in every arena, but it's really some hip hop shit. Yo, it just gotta be dope. Whatever we doing, it gotta be dope.
Yeah. I feel like I don't, and you might, so feel free if you have a different opinion to share it. But like, you know, I show up authentically as myself, even here at Two Loss. Like I kind of, you know, we get to wear what we want and kind of move how we want. But you have to, like, you have to put in the work to get that. There's a lot of people that just out of college or young people that just want that out the gate, and you're gonna limit your opportunities that way. You know, you didn't really put in any work to get to a place where that could be, right? Or have you always just been like, hey, this is, you know, I feel like there's some dudes you have to play, and sometimes there's some games you have, not games, but there's some things that you have to do, step outside of your comfort zone until you get to a place where you can be like fully authentically you.
Yeah, I'm not saying put your nuts in the table
Yeah.
on every room that you walk into. There's sometimes that I'm not even saying I was gonna say there's sometimes when you have to, let's X that. There are sometimes when I was in certain rooms where I had to know when to shut the fuck up and listen,
Mm-hmm.
or when to know how to. It's all strategic, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, you know, I remember working at Double XL, and when we did the issue where Kanye was on the cover for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye was a guest editor for that issue, and he came into the office several times during that month for meetings to do page layouts. Like, Kanye was like all in. So I'm in meetings with Kanye, Virgil. This is Virgil. This is before Off-White. This is even before Pyrex Vision. Like, and our editor in chief Vanessa Satin. Like we're in meetings discussing how this issue is going to lay out. So I'm here soaking up game, and then finding my spots where, hey, I can interject my ideas. And so, you know, it's just being strategic. Like, I wasn't finna show my ass just because Kanye was in the room. Like, nah, because we're working as a team to work towards a goal.
Yeah.
And he gave me. It was funny because I was at a point in my career at that point where I didn't feel like my ideas were valued all the time outside of just at Double XL period, right? I just felt like a lot of my shit got shot down. So we was in the meeting, and I found the space, and I said, hey, yo, I think we should do XYZ. And Ye just looked, he was like, man, I like the way you think, man. Yo, I fuck with you. Put his arm around me and said, nah, yeah, this is what we doing. And so, you know, it's just finding certain spots. You don't got to put your nuts on the table every time. Being hip hop doesn't mean being abrasive every time. Like, you got to be strategic with it. So there's a time and a place for everything.
No, for sure. I know you said you didn't quite have the hour, so I wanted to turn.
Nah, I'm good. We good now. Yeah.
So if you have any questions, I want to make sure that we allow some time for questions. So if you're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or LinkedIn, you could just put your questions in the comments, and we can ask Rob to answer a few questions before we get up out of here. Apologies for this. Well, not apologies. It's not my fault. It was an earthquake.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a lot of things working against us. I got kicked out the room I was in. But we made it happen.
So I know it typically, you know, a cat like yourself has some solid mentors. They gave you great advice, you know, gave you some guidance. I always think that's super important. I try to make sure that I'm available for the young people that I see destined for success. But who are some of the folks that have guided you and kind of kept you on the right path, or are you able to bounce ideas off of?
Oh man, Sway Calloway.
Mm-hmm.
Sway from MTV. Sway has been a tremendous mentor and brother to me and family member, and I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have made it this far if it wasn't for him. Daytwan Thomas, who at the time, right around when I got to Double XL, was the editor-in-chief for a couple of issues. So I learned a lot from Daytwan. Daytwan actually kept me in this business. There was a time when I didn't think I was going to make it. There was a time when my money wasn't right. I felt like I wasn't getting the respect I deserved. The working conditions just wasn't right. But I was able, Daytwan said, hey, whenever you're going through something, just call me. You can vent. And this is the early days of Twitter. He said, whatever you do, don't go on Twitter and vent, because the perception of you is that it's all good. You're at Double XL, you're killing it. The perception is it's all good. Don't ruin the perception of you. But you don't have to hold it in either. If you got something you want to vent about, call me. And Daytwan always picked up the phone whenever I wanted to talk. You know, even Vanessa Satin for giving me a shot. Vanessa Satin was a tough boss to work for. She's still the editor-in-chief of Double XL. There was a lot of hard lessons learned working for Vanessa when I did, but it, you know, steel sharp and steel, like it made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So Yeah, though Dates One and Sway mostly, Ramon Dukes, and then but I gotta give props to Vanessa also.
Yeah. In this industry,
Oh,
oh,
real quick, I'm sorry. One last prayer. I'd be remiss. Brendan Frederick. Brendan gave me my first job at Scratch Magazine, and then he was also my boss over at Genius. Brendan Frederick, if y'all don't know, he's on social media as B Fred. He's currently over at Complex Magazine. This dude is a genius and the architect of so much what we see in hip hop media right now. He's an amazing guy. He gave me a shot early on in my career when nobody else would. So I'm forever indebted to him, and he's just brilliant.
yeah. No, so because in this industry, there's a lot of times, where somebody can piss you off, and then you want to make an impulsive decision, and
Oh, I have.
and, and you need that person to talk you off the ledge, because what you're about to do could really mess some stuff up. It's not, you're not going to be clear headed. You're going to make a decision that's really going to push you back a year or two, as opposed to, just being more strategic, letting your emotions calm down, and really making a thoughtful move going forward. So it's important that whether it's a mentor or just a friend, a peer, don't go to Twitter, don't go to social media and just start venting. Um,
Yeah.
that's typically not a good look.
Yeah, but sometimes I definitely have had my moments where sometimes you got to pop out. What the boy Dot says. Sometimes you got to pop out and show. Like I've definitely had those moments where it's like, because it's still hip hop. It's like, yo, you're not finna play with me,
Yeah.
either. Like, you know what I'm saying. So,
No,
but you gotta pick and choose your spots.
Yeah. No, this is an example of a young lady that reached out to me a few months ago. She's managing a pretty decent sized artist, and it's not really working out. She doesn't think that it's going to be, she doesn't think it's going to work out long term. But I told, like, hey, just start putting your pieces in place, so that the transition's easier, right? Don't just jump out the window, and then not really have anything else. Like, you can set your pieces up so that you can get to even bigger place or transition a lot smoother, as opposed to just kind of letting things blow up. Right. Yeah. I learned that myself. Like, let's see him Funk Volume blow up in front of my eyes. Like, I didn't think it was going to blow up in front of my eyes. I didn't have like a transition. It just kind of caught me off guard. It wasn't something impulsively that I did, but it happened so fast. I really wasn't able to do it. It was actually a very rough transition for the next, year plus. So
I remember being on the outside looking in, watching that, and that felt like, not even to gas it, like, you just see people kind of come into the game together and accomplish amazing things, and then like Rockefeller. Like, it hurt to see Rockefeller break up. It hurts to see Big Boy and Andre not making records anymore together. Even though they're still close friends. But I remember the Funk Volume. I remember, I remember being like confused by it, like watching from the outside looking in, like, damn, is this really happening? But things happen for a reason, and you absolutely bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you absolutely. I mean, because I think your name and your intention, people knew your name and your intention and your authenticity, so it's gonna work in other arenas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took some time, but it is what it is. Let's see, Herb is in the building. What's up, Herb? Herb said, "What are your thoughts on the resurgence of R&B? How is the grind different for independent singers than rappers?"
Word. Shout out to Herb the Phenom, man. Shout out to Herb.
Herb is both.
Yeah, Herb just got, man, a dope placement too, and man, I done seen Deadpool and Wolverine twice already. I'm about to go back for the third time.
Sheesh, 3 times.
Yeah, I need to see it in 4DX. So he did like this red and yellow freestyle, and they used it for the trailer. That was amazing. So shout out to Herb. And then me and Herb, man, I had to interview Herb back in my MTV days. I think what's going on in R&B is dope. It goes back to intention again. I just love seeing. I think for a long time the R&B that the spotlight was focused on, that was putting the light on, it was kind of the rap R&B hybrid. Like, I feel like everything moved towards the middle, and I just love seeing what's going on with these artists, and I think love being at the center of a lot of what the music is. You know, Victoria Monet winning that Grammy, I think was amazing. Oh man, it's just so much. This new Marsha Ambrosius album, I think, is amazing. Like, it's just so much. I love it right now. I think we need R&B to be in a very great place. How is the grind different? You know, I think it's harder. I think for singers and rappers right now.
I think so. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
curious. Why is it harder?
because again, I think rap. I think we see more of the spectacle with rap.
Mm.
It's easy to catch attention. I mean, again, it goes back to that thing. You think talent will be enough to do it, but you know, at the same time, I think that R&B grind. I think crafting a song that somebody loves that hits you right here lasts longer though.
Mm.
So while it may be less of a spectacle, oh man, the payoff is so much better. You know what I mean? Man, shout out to Sir. I'm just you called me off guard with that one, but I'm just thinking of like who I'm listening to right now, man. Shout out to Sir. Still, you know what I mean? It's just amazing artists out there. I think really doing it in the way that, at least for me, that I grew up on, that the way R&B is supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? Leon Thomas just dropped something new. I'm looking forward to Leon Thomas new joint. Ryan Trey, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some dope stuff coming out.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know which is harder, but I know that, you know, especially if you really can sing, like Irv can sing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like content would be easier, right? Because as a rapper, you're gonna have to think of new bar. Like if you just did like a Lady London freestyle or
Right.
whatever,
You can
like,
do covers.
yeah, there's so many ways you can flip covers.
That's true.
I feel Irv actually used to do these things where I forget what you call it, Irv, so you can put it in the comments. But you had the different panels, and each one of the panel you're doing like a different sound, and it was basically, you know, like
it looks like the Brady Bunch,
yeah,
but it was stacking the different
yeah,
sounds.
stacking the vocals, and
Yeah.
it sounded dope. I still
Yeah.
think you should go
That's
back
dope.
to doing those. I know those weren't those. It looked like those weren't easy to create, Irv, but you know I always appreciated those. If I never told you that.
Shout out to Irv.
So yeah, I don't know which one is harder. It's all they're both hard. You know,
Right.
They're
It's
both,
definitely nothing's easy.
yeah,
I just do feel like the audience respects the spectacle more than we respect the talent. I feel like whenever you're just displaying raw talent, it's harder.
Yeah.
But again, the payoff is a lot better.
Let's see. Xavier Ponciano says, "What keeps you making just about music, not really getting into the gossip or hating route? That's something I've commended for a while now."
Yeah, shout out to Xavier. Xavier is part of our YouTube community that I told you that we're building, man. So, so Xavier, amazing supporter. What keeps you making it just about the music? Because it's what I love, man. I want to be the balance. I want to be the change that we want to see. It's really what I care about. It's hard for me to really care about the gossip. I know I can make, man. You know, like today on my YouTube, I did a video about Arrested Development, an old 90s group from Atlanta that won 2 Grammys, sold 4 million copies on their first album, had 3 gold singles, all of them in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 in 1992 when hip hop wasn't dominating the Billboard Hot 100 like that. A group out of Atlanta that we never talk about called Arrested Development. Like they actually predate Outkast. They were kind of a hybrid of like Public Enemy and the Native Tongues. And I knew it wasn't going to get me a lot of views. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like, yeah, I just feel like I want to talk about this group and have this conversation. Now, I could do Drake videos 5 days out the week and know I'll get way more traffic if I just put Drake's name in the headline. But hip hop is bigger than that. Like I know I'm not the only one that feels like that, Xavier. So for me, yes, we're gonna cover all the big headlines, but we're gonna do everything else in between. We're gonna keep it about music because that's what I got into it for personally. It's not to put nobody else down, but you know, I came up. Sway was the guy that I looked up to. Angie Martinez was the woman that I looked up to on Hot 97. I didn't necessarily look at, let's say, a Wendy Williams or a Star from Star and Buck Wild and be like, yo, that's the career path I wanted. props to them if it works for them. I just want to feel good about myself if I just became like a gossip blogger. Like it wouldn't. Again, Dame, you said fulfilled. You seem really fulfilled. That wouldn't fulfill me. So
yeah,
and I'm definitely not a hater.
I just looked. Arrested Development still has a million monthly listeners.
Yeah.
They had hits, but to be honest with you, like you can find content like that goes viral. We do with the comedian I work with, Big Jai. We do a weekly podcast called the Blackbusters podcast, where we review Black films from the past, right? And sometimes clips from those go viral because they're cultural moments that you're covering, specific moments in movies or specific actors that maybe didn't get their flowers. Like, and a lot of that content you just never know what goes viral these days. But like a lot of that content goes viral. Obviously, it's not Kevin Hart or a bigger comedian, but we could highlight a cultural moment and bring it back to today's time, and that could go viral. So, I could say that to say you don't always have to tap into like the biggest things that are happening. Some of those moments, like I said, those cultural moments, you can bring them back and people remember those, and people will like, if they could like it 10 times, they would like it 10, or they're going to share it. They're going to comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just about finding your community, man, and building a community. And if you love it, there's other people who love it. So it's just creating the content that kind of speaks to them.
For sure. Let's do one more before we wrap this up. Let me see. Let's see. G King said, what's some things in music that have inspired you lately, whether production or a project from an artist, and what excites you about the rest of the year musically? Good one.
Man, I was really inspired by Vince Staples' album, Dark Times. Again, because it just felt honest. Vince is so intentional. Like Vince don't drop music just to drop music. Oh man. So I thought that was a great album. Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips is one of my favorites. Yearn 101 is one of my favorites. Like that shit just get me so hyped. Like it's an incredible record. Rhapsody, Please Don't Cry. And I feel like I'm missing another one. Oh man. And then like I ain't gonna lie, like we just came off what I think is gonna go down as the greatest back and forth beef in hip hop history. That's kept me inspired, man. The Kendrick records and the Drake records. Look, I know like Kendrick won. I know people want to debate that. Kendrick won. Drake took the L. There was some dope rapping on them Drake records though. Like I won't sit here and be like these Drake records are trash. Like those Drake records would have got somebody else out of here in terms. So I just think I know we're in this thing where we have to pick a side. I'm just like, yo, we saw like high level rapping.
Yeah.
And so I was happy and entertained by that. And for the rest of the year, I'm really looking forward to what J. Cole has to say. Again, coming out of that battle, I had said this before, J. Cole has been so honest with his audience. And I got it when J. Cole bowed out that battle, when he said he couldn't sleep at night, when it was disturbing his peace. As a grown man, I understood what that meant. But that was, again, it was one of the biggest moments. And we never really quite seen that before in hip hop. I know a lot of people clown him, but I'm looking forward to seeing where J. Cole's head and his heart is at with this new music coming out of that. Because, say what you want, yeah, he ducked smoke or whatever, but J. Cole is a motherfucker. Might delete later. Again, one of the better albums this year, something that I still listen to, man. So in terms of what I'm looking forward to, J. Cole is at the top of that list.
Dope. Well, Rob, man, we appreciate you being here. This has been another great episode of Two Lost Officers. One I will definitely not forget, given your input and the earthquake. So
I felt like Little Kim.
I gotta play this back because y'all definitely got my genuine reaction. I'm from California. I remember the '94 earthquake. That earthquake changed my life, not in a good way. So I definitely remember all earthquakes vividly. And it's something that you'll never get used to. I'll never get used to. But anyway, Rob, where social media platform are you on the most? Where can people connect with you at?
YouTube is what I'm pumping the most right now. So Rob Markman is the channel on YouTube. But I mean, you can connect with me on IG, on Twitter as well. I refuse to call it X. Everything at Rob Markman is my government name. So definitely check me out on YouTube.
Same here.
And new music coming this year.
There it is. Hopefully, hopefully on Two Loss.
Listen, we got to talk that out, man, because Distro Kid, your days might be numbered.
For sure. This has been another very dope episode of Two Lost Office Hours. Next week, Nyla will be hosting an episode. I'm not sure who the guest is, but you'll have a much prettier face to look at. So look forward to that next week, Monday, 12 p.m. Pacific. See y'all there. Peace.